get it if I want it. Gotta make to myself a promise. I won't quit, keep going till I got it. I won't give up till I'm on top.
Yo, no, I ain't the type to give up. If I do something, man, I do it till I get what I want. I turn a business out of nothing into something I love. I got a poker face, but honestly, I'm not one to bluff. I flip a switch, never miss, man, I always stay up. Don't let them see you, bitch, always have a plan to stay tough. This life ahead of you ain't easy, it was built to be rough. But that's what makes a personality, is tragedy, bruh. So keep your head on your shoulders. Now we ain't out here moving rocks, we out here moving boulders. Now we ain't getting posterized, we out here making posters, and we ain't got nothing to hide.
What up, what up? What is up? And welcome into Pregaming here on Sports Money. Monday to Friday, we get going at 6 p.m. You guys know the deal. We'll look at lines, cash flow, player injury analysis, the way the wind is blowing, which didn't affect us last night, and anything else that we can use to try to get to the window with winning sports betting tickets. And I got the best chat in the business to help us do just that. What a day we have in front of us here. A big college basketball card, all things considered. I thought I liked these spots quite a bit. A little NHL card, just a little two-pack. A little two-pack Shakur in the NHL. But we got 3 college basketball plays. We'll roll out 3 NBA plays, and we'll see if we can't get these bookies bend the knee for what we got here with sports money. And let's go, you guys. What a big day tomorrow's going to be. So we got to see, we got to pace ourselves. We got to pace ourselves. We got to get going. We got a lot of work to do. You guys know the deal. But man, saw the college basketball board pretty clear last night. Came off a nice little 4-0 packer. You know, that under cashed early for us in the 640 game for me. And it didn't matter what line you got, I guess. Ultimately, it was still good money. Then we rolled through. And man, how about them 2 games that we fired off last night? Here on Pregaming, never a doubt, never a sweat, not even an ounce of concern. These boys were busting them up. We had big money on those things, and they came through for us. First game that we banged away on was Arkansas State, minus 5.5. Them boys won by 25 points. Dialed into that one for sure. St. Louis was definitely injured. And they showed it throughout the game. They gassed out by the second half of that thing. UNC, minus 4.5. Them boys won by 27 points. So, yeah, saw that thing pretty nicely. And then Santa Clara, at the end of the night, Santa Clara pulls off a 39-point victory. Sent that one out to our members. And it felt pretty damn good to be banging away on college hoops like that. It was fun. Ottawa, sadly, Ottawa does not get out there against Montreal in the NHL. They got busted up and thumped. So shout out to you guys that were on the Ottawa Senators. The Anaheim Ducks, Dallas Stars game did not go under. And neither did the Seattle and Chicago game. I was messaging our guy Gonzo. And I was like, I know why I didn't take that Chicago team total under. These teams that have that youth are now in that component of the season where they haven't had experience. And so is it a surprise that we see? I mean, it's a surprise that Seattle scored 6 goals. That was a surprise for me. But for Chicago to just land on a 2-pack, another 2-pack Shakur. And yeah, boys are gassed. They're tired. It's late in the season. They're pretty damn close to packing it in. So maybe take a little look at that as we look at some of these Chicago players. I'm going to run a little query this evening to see who are the youngest teams in the NHL. And let's start to fade them, boys. Start to fade, see if we can't try to get some team total unders there. Bucks got busted up by the Golden State Warriors. We cashed half the leg of the Islanders in under 6 parlay. So that was kind of the beauty of, I kind of had that feeling. It doesn't matter what side I play, it's not going to be the right side. So let's just fire the 2 together. And yeah, we pushed on the under 6, but we got the Islanders money. So it ended up being like 0.9 units of cash in our pockets. So it's all good. All good, ready to roll. Going to have a fun night tonight. And you know what's coming up. First Strike will be right around the corner, ready to launch We'll get the boys in. We'll talk about these UFC fights for UFC London. And it's an early card. Get ready. Get set. We pop off about 12:30 p.m. Eastern. Right in the middle of all the madness. Literally all the madness of March. We'll have college basketball. It's going to be a great show. You are not going to want to miss. You're going to want to have a plush bankroll for that one because it will be probably maybe one of our biggest shows. We'll have a lot of plays, that's for sure. We'll see if we can't get those to the window, but a lot of research has to go in to make sure that we can capitalize on that. So in the meantime, we've got our rugby plays out there from Dan and Down Under. Him and his boy Smythe gave us 3-4 looks out there in rugby. That first game pops off overnight. So some action that'll pop off there for you guys that are overnight junkies, or you want to just put your money to work while you're sleeping. We got the BB MMA pick show. They gave out, I think it's 4 plays this week on the UFC card for UFC London. And I mentioned we'll be popping off a 4-packer. How about this, though? In the world of golf, you guys know the deal. Check out the post tab, the community tab. The post tab over on the Sports Money YouTube page. And you will find... Oh, what happened here? What happened here? What the F is going on? Anyways, golf plays are released. Golf plays are out there. They're ready for your review. Jeff's got a package of golf plays. I put a package of golf plays out there. I picked 3 golfers. Try to keep it to 3. And I try to go top 20, and then a little first round and outright leaders. So those are definitely available. If you guys don't know where to find them, that's what we're here for. We're here to help get you guys paid. And yeah, last week was fun. We were just near miss on the first round leader with Aaron Ray. He bogeyed 17. He fell behind and he just couldn't catch back up. And sadly, we did not get that money, but we did get their top 20s. And that got us to the window with a net profit for the week of just over a unit with some big opportunities mixed inside of there. For those of you that aren't aware, you already know the deal here. I know most of you guys are residents to the post tab. Here it is, the Sports Money YouTube homepage. You flip on over to posts, give it a scroll on down. These are the plays that I released for the members today. All members, all medal level members, bronze, silver, and gold. We're going Zalatoris, and then Lucas Glover and Sammy Burns. So I try to go like low, medium, high, and you can see that in the price tags that they're paying out, right? Sammy Burns is 22-1. Will Zalatoris is 45-1. And Lucas Glover is kind of the long shot at 70-1. And then you can kind of see the unit breakdown. I think I got about 4 units mixed into this one here. And the guys that we're looking for, obviously Sam Burns, Lucas Glover, and Will Zalatoris to get in the top 20. If Glover and Zala can get there for us, then everything else is a free roll trying to get big bucks. So that's what we're looking for. That's how we're going to try to get paid. Here's the March Madness bracket. Congrats. 29 of you guys and girls have entered this March Madness bracket. If we can get to 50, we'll add a second place merchandise swath in there and give you guys some nice choice of merch to play with out there. Moreover, if you continue to roll on down, we'll find MMA Jeff's golf place for the Valspar. And he likes Zalatoris as well. Look at that. Zalatoris and Schauffele. Top 20 with Taylor Moore and Alex Smalley. See those price tags. Plus 300, plus 275. Look, he's got Sammy Burns in the top 10. And Michael Kim in the top 10 as well for some nice big scores. I don't know if it's top 10 with Sammy Burns. Yeah, I guess that makes sense. Yeah, that makes sense. Look at that. An 11 thumbs up. Appreciate you guys taking the time to do that. That stuff means a ton for us. We appreciate you taking the time to support us. And shout out to my guy, Redbeard in the house. Get the Sports Money membership. Blessed in our action as we launch this ship. My guy, I appreciate you. Redbeard. He's in the tournament. He's ready to go. He's bracketed up. Told him if his bracket has Florida as the winner, better go back there and redo it. He didn't respond. But he did get the Sports Money membership, so shout out to my guy, Redbeard. This is the time we need to have some fun. As a reminder, all members eligible for the March Madness bracket. It's free to enter. We don't want your money. We just want to give you some free merch. We appreciate you supporting us because we are viewer supported and taking the opportunity to spend time with us here. Get yourself on one of these medal level tiers that we have to show the support is much appreciated. So we want to continue to try to find ways like this to give it back to you guys. And we appreciate a guy like Redbeard giving a Sports Money membership helping somebody else get access to some of these premium plays out there. Just more opportunities for, cashing spots when we're not live on the air. Of course, you can find Ramon Scott Monday to Sunday, 7 days a week at 9 a.m. Eastern with the morning steam. But this is crucial time of year. Tomorrow, boatload of games. Ramon's going to start the day off giving out the early plays. I'm going to finish the day off giving out the late plays. And that's a nice little way, I think, to segue in that, because there's 16 games. There's a lot of games to get involved with tomorrow. And that's going to be a fun day to go after it. So I'll still drop some plays out there that I'm involved with early, especially if we continue to see the board crisp and clean. I realize every time I show a screen, it puts me over on that view. Back myself out here. Don't you see my big head? Okay, let's go, you guys. Time to go. We got a lot to do tonight. Continuing to grow this thing. Trying to bring you guys more best bets, and we're recruiting. I think we got a couple of new guys in the funnel here that are experts in their own right. Some new faces that we haven't seen before. So stay tuned for more. We're talking about some evergreen content. Shout out to Subhuman Gaucho, reached out, wants to get involved with some of the coaching. Whether you're opening a new book, trying to figure out how not to get limited. I think it's an important one, because I remember somebody said to me, like, oh, you're still on DraftKings. You haven't been limited. Dude, you're doing it wrong if you're getting limited. There's so many books out there. What are you doing? Stop it. Unless you hit them for like $1 million. Yeah, I could see that they would want to limit you. But anyways, more of that to come as well. So we're getting down to the nitty gritty, though, with March Madness here. Then we've got NBA and the NHL playoffs. We got just 1 month until the NHL playoffs start. So it's that close. Of course, the NBA will follow suit. And then we'll be left to the dog days of summer. So let's get this money while we can. Let's start this show off. You guys know the deal. Thumbs up is a true currency in the YouTube business. It helps to promote this show and let YouTube know you guys are here checking us out, helping us continue to grow the brand. You can take the time to close the chat, hit the thumbs up, then pop it back open. We'll get to work. I will be updating the member level slides here once a week. So I know some of you guys have upgraded this week, and we very do much appreciate that. I will get that update. I got to change the video, which means I got to update the slide, and there's a couple other things that have to go into it, and I will do that once a week. We'll have it updated and ready to roll for Saturday. We'll roll this week, Saturday to Friday. And I appreciate you guys. Definitely want to give you guys your shout outs. Appreciate you taking the time to build this community with us. Let's do some business. Let's get that pen and paper out. You know what's up. It's time to write down best bets. They're sharing them with you guys. We've been working on this card all day. The best in the business have assembled here to give their best bets. And I'm going to share mine as well. So make sure you put them in the chat. And we'll get rolling, because Jover is going to pop us off here. He's got an Avs Maple Leafs first period over 1.5 in the Avs Maple Leafs game. 2 hockey games today. 2 hockey games. I got some stats I'll share with you guys for the second one. A little trendage against that Seattle Kraken team and Minnesota Wild. Second leg of a back-to-back for a road dog's a bad place to be in the NHL. I'm going to tell you that. Shout out to Gerald Jones. Best bets 24-13. My man is thumping them books, and he's giving you Furman. He's got plus 8.5. Let's not forget. Open the month up with a hundo, and he is rolling over 11x. My man Gerald Jones rocking and rolling with us. Appreciate you sharing. Redbeard gifted memberships and giving best bets. He likes Texas money line and FAU money lines out there. Says have a great night, especially Scumbag Jeff. Shout out to Joe W. Peter Grassi is in the house. Trisha M. is here rocking. She says, I have American 64.5 over. Xavier Moneyline. Xavier under 151.5 at plus 400. Play each and together. And best of luck. Need moolah guidance on the Avs Moneyline coin toss. Shout out to you, Trisha M. Let's go. Peter Grassi says, smoked him. I think he's talking about them college games. Yeah, man, those were sweat free, and if you waited to get in, you waited too long, because those things were over before they even started. Hopefully we keep that rolling. Trisha M. saying, fading young teams in madness is also a good look. I agree. I agree. That FAU game is very interesting. Redbeard with his FAU look out there. We're going to talk about it. We're going to talk about it. I'll share it with you. I think I got a little insight. You know, some of these things, if you follow these beat reporters, yeah, it takes a little bit of time. I guess that's what we're here for. We're here to give you guys the intel so you don't have to. Just have to hit that thumbs up button. As Lexicon says, there's Joe T. Joe's done a great job with the polls in the community tab. I think that's one of the best things we got rolling, man. This chat has been popping at 70%. You do want to go out there and answer the polls. I can't answer. I have an admin level. They won't let me contribute to the polls. Those are your guys' polls. And it's fun. It's fun to see. It's fun to see the results out there. Specifically, the winner of the national championship right now, a heavy favorite, Duke, Auburn, or Florida. 67% have jumped in on one of those number one seeds winning the tournament. The field is minus 105. We appreciate you guys hitting that thumbs up when you do vote. Combined total of the number seeds for the Final Four, under 11 seeds. That's a pretty cool one. 70% have jumped in on that. Championship game combined seeds, under 4.5. Favorites heavy. You know, it's funny, Joe, that you mentioned that because I was thinking, what have we seen all the last 6 months? This is where you need an aged database. Because if you look at the database this year, if you have a database that's got 1 year's, NFL, NBA, NHL even, what do we see in college football? Well, they're all favorites. So if you're a new gambler and you got one season's worth of data, you're going to go just bet the favorites and retire. What we know is over time, you start to see a better picture out there. And so seeing those under 4.5 seeds as the combined championship game, is it a favorite heavy tournament? We won't stop. Sports money is money. You're damn right it is. Let's go, my friend. Redbeard says scumbags all over it. Choti. Give you your flowers, man. Let's go. That's a cool. I love that. I love the pools out there. Make sure you guys do get a chance to go in there and check them out. And of course, we've got which conference are you picking to win the whole thing? 80% of you have picked the SEC at minus 105. Makes sense. They got the most teams in. You get the most bang for your buck. So that's cool stuff. Let's go. Redbeard says, take Texas, Jerry. Peter Grassi says, hit the button all. Joe T says, tomorrow's best bet. Jover's already given us his Wisconsin team tomorrow. First half, minus 9.5. They let us down the other day, Jover. They let me down the other day. I finally tailed that one, and I know you are. It's all good. Keith says, hey, Mike and all, let the madness begin. Joe T says, I have some more polls out later on. Blake likes Northern Iowa. And we got some guys tailing Jover. Appreciate you guys, man. Get in there. Like I said, check out that post tab. By now, you should just have it bookmarked. Bookmark it on your phone. Bookmark it on your tablet. Bookmark it on your computer. One-stop shop. Give that thing a click and it'll pull you right in so that, every day there's literally some piece of valuable content being put out there every single day. And you don't want to miss it. So, my recommendation is, certainly follow us at Sports Money Wins on Twitter. If you follow us over at Sports Money Wins on Twitter, anytime we put content on the YouTube page, it'll make its way on over to the Twitter page, and you'll be in the notification now. Don't really spam a lot. We're not trying to spam on the Sports Money Wins page. We're trying to show support to those that support us. It's a funny thing. There's a bunch of shitbags that refuse to hit the like and retweet button, and I spend a lot of time with them. So it does chat my ass a little bit. They'll retweet everybody else's shit, but the guy that spends all that time on camera. Anyways, I digress. Don't let my saltiness to mediocrity spoil the growth and excellence that we have over here. Shout out to Fernando Mendoza, our soccer extraordinaire here. He's got a $4.99 super sticker to get this thing rolling. Let's go. Let's go, Fernando Mendoza, my guy. I grabbed an empty glass of water. But I appreciate you, brother. Thank you so much. We're going to get together this summer. I know it. I know you. Let's go. Cameron Sinette's looking forward to winning the first ever Pimp Slap college basketball tournament. We're going to have something fun. We will have something fun for the first winner for sure. Peter says, valuable insight on this channel. Appreciate you guys, man. Appreciate all you guys rocking with us here. Appreciate the membership gifting from Redbeard, the $4.99 super sticker from Fernando. Let's talk some action. Let's talk some action. First of all, excuse me. Because it's 6:40 start, I'll just share with you guys. I'm going to take the under in this Mount St. Mary's game. It has come down much to the... Here's the thing. The under and Mount St. Mary's are both strong looks in this one here. Just comes down to who's got the rebounding advantage. So, American likes to play a slow pace game, slow style. There's no graphic for this one. This is just me. It's 6:40. I'm jiving with you guys on a little bit of this stuff here. And the most important thing to note, American likes to play slow and they like to bang threes. Well, what happens when you bang threes? You miss threes. And so the rebounding margin in conference tournament, the NCAA tournament, is significant because it limits those second chance opportunities. And Mount St. Mary's, while they're not the flashiest squad in the bunch, they can move. And they can shoot threes themselves. Now, granted, they're not the best at it. But if you're looking for that margin, when the team has the rebounding advantage. When you have a rebounding advantage in the first round of the play-in, ultimately. This is just a play-in stat. 14-8 are those teams. 14-5 against the spread. 7-12 to the under. Kind of makes sense. If you're limiting second chance opportunities and that team's throwing a lot of threes, even if they're making them at a 30% rate, probably still going to be a lower scoring game. So I do like the Mount. I do like the Mount at 2.5. 47% of the bets and 50% of the cash are on Mount St. Mary's. The totals come down, though. 83% of the bets and 76% of the cash are on the over. I got 129.5. I see 128.5 out there. I see 127.5 out there. So if you're looking for some 640 action, we're going to bring the fire. We're going to bring the goods for you guys to talk about some trends and validate some of these plays. Let's shift gears and talk about some puck real quick. We only have 2 games. Only have 2. And boy, speaking of those favorites, man, we are starting to see a lot of these favorites running away in the NHL. Last night was another great example. Tough to be dogging. Ottawa Senators. Well, I guess the Ottawa Senators were favorites, albeit small. Who else got busted up? Who else was... shoot. Not a good day to be a dog. All right. Colorado Avalanche. Take 2. Toronto. They rolled north of the border 2-6. And they're going to start their best guy in Mackenzie Blackwood. They picked him up early in the season from the San Jose Sharks, and he has been playing pretty good. However, he's back from illness. That concerns me a little bit. He's got a 2.5 goals against average, a 91.4% save percentage. Look, he's done considerable work. 2 or fewer goals in 6 of his last 11 games. And what happens when your goalie's seeing the ball like a beach ball, the puck like a beach ball? You win. 8-2-1. They did thump the Toronto Maple Leafs 11 days ago, 7-4. On the other side of things, Toronto will go to Joseph Woll. 23-12, 2.75 goals against average, 90.5% save percentage. This dude's returning from some knee injury. Anthony Stolarz started back-to-back games, and now he's coming back after knee injury. So, originally I looked at this game and I thought under for a lot of reasons. Playoffs, top-rated teams. Also, what we're finding is the Toronto Maple Leafs, granted they just won. We know the Maple Leafs just won. Beating them Calgary Flames 6-2, but they were struggling to find the back of the twine. 2 goals against Florida, 2 goals against Ottawa. Then they unloaded 6 goals against Calgary. On the other side of things, though, all the Avalanche keep doing is winning. All they do is win, win, win. And they fuck the books up. And I think they're going to do just that tonight here. Colorado Avalanche, for me, are the official play. I do like this under quite a bit. I still can't quite get my finger off it. But here's the deal. Favorites are favorites for a reason. In the NHL, they show their true colors. I kind of like the under because this is a non-conference game. And so both teams they just both could use a point. They don't want to go out there and exhaust themselves and show too much of the playbook. They don't want to put too much effort into this one. Granted, it's hockey and they're going to give effort, but it's not like you want to go out there and have to play. I just think it's going to be a tight game. I think we probably do see it be a little more physical because they're not trying. They're going to play some more second, third, and fourth line guys than just your starters and like McKinnon and such. But look, they are free of Rantanen in Colorado, and they have been running free ever since then. When you're a favorite of 200 or less against a non-conference team that's over 500, so you're a medium-sized favorite or less, it's non-conference, and it's a good team. Well, the favorite wins. They're 319 and 196. They're 8-2 in their last 10. It's good enough for me to want to get involved with some Colorado Avalanche money. I think it's good money. I think that's a good way for us to kick this thing off and get paid. So we'll take the Colorado Avalanche. Second play I was looking at, and I just haven't pulled the trigger. I think Minnesota does put the belt to ass on this on the Seattle Kraken team. I do. Overall, between these two guys, if you look, again, you got the second leg of the back-to-back, right, with Seattle. It's never a good place to be, especially on the road. It can be taxing. They just played at Chicago. They just scored 6 goals. Now, it's Chicago, and they were cruise control in the second half of that game, so they were able to go deeper in their bench. Grooves will be on the ice for Seattle. Grubauer stinks. He's got a 3.61 goals against average and 87.2% save percentage. Gustafsson will roll on the other side of things here. He's their number one. 2.6 goals against average, 91.4% save percentage. But they're not scoring. And you got a tired team on the other side in Seattle. So the more I talk this out loud, the more I might make this an official play. I got to be a little trepidatious taking some unders in this thing. But Minnesota's only scored 8 goals in their last 4 games. Somehow they're 2-1-1. But that's because Gustafsson has been standing on his head. 28 of 29 saves against that LA Kings game. We were on the under. It was a 3-1 final. And he's been playing really good hockey. And again, you just don't want to be on the second leg of a back-to-back in the NHL. But I'll tell you this, we've got a little trendage as well. And when you're in that favorite role, as the Minnesota Wild are, you're a favorite up to minus 200 again. So that medium level favorite, not an egregious favorite, because it's like the trends go out the window. We've talked about that before. You got a 5.5 total. You got a medium-sized favorite, and your opponent's on the second leg of a back-to-back with no rest. 29-12 are those teams. 29-12. It's also 12-29 to the under, which to me makes a lot of sense. You tighten up. You play defense. You're not trying to flash and dash. You're just trying to get through this thing so you can have a day's maintenance out there, some practices, but not work on a couple of X's and O's things, but not get out there skating the shit out of the guys here. The problem for me is the margin of victory for the Minnesota Wild in that 29-12 spot is 1 goal. So you're forced at this point to either take them straight up, which is minus 160s, or then run the gauntlet of regulation. Now, the fact that it is 1 goal could be an overtime situation. Could see overtime. However, as I broke that down a little bit more, we've only had 5 overtimes in that almost 50-game sample, 45-game sample. So just a bit over 1 for every 10 that are going to overtime in those situations. So I would think you could get away with the Minnesota Wild. This is a 9:40 game, so keep the notifications on because I'll probably get to the window in some capacity here. The only problem I don't like with the regulation, I think this minus 105 to minus 135 range of regulation is a losing bet. And Minnesota Wild are minus 110. So I would be more inclined to go into the game parlay and take Minnesota Wild in the under 5.5 at plus 205. That's my thoughts on how I would approach the second game. Anonymous says that Colorado line is so fishy. Toronto, a dog at home, is crazy. Yes and no. I mean, they kicked the shit out of them the last time they played. So they should be. Here's the thing, though. You got a public dog. 24% of the bets and 93% of the cash. Well, I guess it's not as public, but 93% of the cash on the Toronto Maple Leafs. It's gone from plus 105 to plus 115. Huge situation out there. And I get that. Sharps are just looking at it going, I'll take the home team at the plus money spot if it's a rough coin flip situation. I don't believe it's a coin flip situation. I think the Avalanche have just enough to go out there. Man, they're 36-20 as a favorite. Now, that being said, Toronto is 10-8 as a dog. So, Max Pacioretty being out of there. I'll tell you the guy that I like watching here. The son of Ty Domi and Max Domi. That dude's a killer, man. He's not afraid to go fight. He's not afraid to score. He's not afraid to check. That's the way I like my hockey players. Physical, aggressive. Late half a point movement against St. Mary's. So some late action coming in here on American as we get closer to the tip. They were 2.5s. Actually, they were 2s when the show started. It went to 2.5 right before I talked about it. It's now 3. And Spoon Bets says, hit the like. Good luck, everybody. Appreciate you, my dude. Thank you for reminding everybody. Fernando likes Cole Makar over 2.5 shots on goal. It's a great look. I like those offensive defensemen, man. That's another play that I like. What's up, AOD? I like them guys that get involved, because the offensive defenseman, you think about the way the hockey game evolves and unfolds. It's kind of like a big funnel where you segue it back to the defense, and the defense kind of plays quarterback. They get a lot of puck on stick time, and they're probably telling the guys to get in front of the net so they can go out there and chuck that thing in, and maybe they try to get a tip. So I do like that play. I think Cale Makar is a excellent look here tonight. I'm going to bust out the high tops as we get into hardwood season here. College basketball, March Madness. We got Florida Atlantic and Dayton. What a battle on our hands. This line opened up as minus 1.5. Come down a little bit. Like more on the Florida Atlantic side. They haven't really messed with Dayton, if you look at minus 1.5, right? We sometimes talk about, well, what's the money line doing? Because it's kind of that within the 2 and the books aren't sure what to do with them. On the money line, you've got 29% of the bets on Dayton, but you have 59% of the cash. The line went from minus 192 to minus 110. I think I know why. This line opened at 147.5. It's now 154.5 with 72% of the bets and 76% of the cash on the over. Crazy numbers coming in on this thing here. And relatively split. Kind of when you look at when the sharp betting reports are coming through here, kind of a little bit of action coming in on both sides of this thing, as if they're not entirely sure. We've got 2 back-to-back spread losses. Here's what I like about Tulane and FAU. That was a semifinal game for the Florida Atlantic Owls. This is that FAU team. Let's not forget, they were dancing a year ago. So they're dancing. They were hoping to get back. They couldn't get there. They lose to a Green Wave team that got all the way to the finals, put their best effort forward. Just unfortunately wasn't enough against Memphis. They lost by 1 point. 1 point. Kept Tulane out of that championship situation out there. And that's who FAU had lost to in this game. On the other side of things, you have Dayton. What do we know about Dayton? We know Dayton's an A-10 school. We know Dayton lost to St. Joe's. And they beat down the powerhouse in VCU. So, a lot to be said. They chopped that big tree. Then they fell flat because they just ran out of gas after an emotional effort. In my estimation, we have a team that chopped down that big tree, ran out of gas after an emotional effort over here. Over here, we have a team that went to the March Madness tournament last year, fell short, got excited, but now they're kind of stepping back in class, going to work on a few things to try to get the ship right for next season. Got a couple seniors on the team that want to finish strong. Over in Dayton, the big thing for Dayton, if you're questioning this situation, how is Dayton the number 1 team in their bracket, but they're on the road? Well, I'll tell you why. Because they have scheduling conflicts in Dayton. And so they're pissed. They're not happy. And now I wonder, how much of that pissed and not happy translates to fuck this. We're just out of this thing. We lost. We ran out of our gas. We're not in the big tournament. Now we got to go down to Florida. We're going to play FAU. We should be a home game for us. And it's the A10, and we know those games tend to be lower scoring. We see cash coming in on the over. The over has shot off like a missile. And we like to associate our dogs to our overs. I'm on FAU in this game. I think the externalities in this one do present a situation. Not to mention, Dayton does find its way into a 9-0 over position, supporting a higher scoring game. If they're a favorite and they're playing a team that's 41.5% or better shooting, and you got a higher total than the previous game. So you're playing a good team that can shoot, and the total's higher than your last game. In Dayton's situation, they go over. Can they hang on? Do they care enough? Do they want to get into a grudge match like, holy cow, that game last night? Which one was that? That was a monster. Double overtime. Chattanooga, the Mocs get down on Middle 10. It's like a in-state battle there. But as a small dog, they hung on. +2.5, dropped to +1.5. They got the win. Middle 10, home team, they play well in the small favorite role. So on the flip side of this thing, I just don't know that Dayton gives a shit. Now, that's a little bit of speculation, but it's a higher scoring game with a team like Florida Atlantic that's kind of rebuilding after I think they're going to come in here taking this one serious. I don't think they're just going to fuck off because they're in the NIT. I think they care enough to go out there and put boots to ass on these boys. I'm going to take me some FAU Owls. And I got some FAU. I'll give you the number. I got them on the money line. Fuck the points. Give me -108. I think there's some better numbers out there now. Let me check. Yeah, 10 cents. That is what it is. I still see some -103s. I see a +105, +102. And here's the best part, though. FanDuel does not have the best number any longer. So I'm in. Give me some FAU Owls. That's the way we're going to go. Cameron says that's sweaty, dude. That doesn't even begin to describe it. That thing was edge of your seat. Even with like 10 seconds left in each of the overtimes, it was like back and forth and back and forth. And then what a finish, too, by the way. I don't want to dismiss the finish that took place in that St. Francis, Alabama State game. The under cashed, barely, I guess is how it worked out, 138. But the Hail Mary at the end with like 2 seconds to go, those are some incredible March Madness finishes. So anyways, I'm going to pop off with FAU. Gerardo likes some FAU. Stop Geo says that NHL slate tomorrow, though. I know. I know. And it's March Madness, right? And we got UFC early. Man, it's just going to be a big ass weekend of betting. It's going to be a ton of fun. Got to stay serious to it. Got to stay focused on it. If we treat it like a business, we should receive business-like returns. And I'm going to think that we see FAU treat this like a business. Come in here, beat that ass in a Dayton spot that's got to be pretty chapped. I think they're ready to phone it in. North Alabama and Bradley roll into this one. 8 p.m. start. So that game pops off at 7 p.m. We'll roll on over to 8 p.m. This is the easing us into March Madness for tomorrow because it will be mayhem. +2.5 for North Alabama has moved to 4.5. And the big news about that is injury thoughts. The players that were supposed to be out are coming back. 55% of the bets and 52% of the cash are coming in on Bradley. Totals moved up 140.5 to 146. You have 71% of the bets and 76% of the cash on the over. And look, as much as I talk about FAU last year, kind of taking that step back now, kind of refiguring the pieces as they try to make another push forward next season, North Alabama's kind of in the opposite situation. Just recently, a D1 anointed program, trying to figure out how to play with the big boys. Bradley's been beaten up on everybody, except they lost to Drake early in their tournament, 63-48. Drake, by the way, Drake is 0-5 in their last 10 years of March Madness tournament play. Keep that in mind. 0-5 against the spread for Drake. On the other side of things, North Alabama did have a battle up until Lipscomb. Our boys of Lipscomb. Hate that name. And they lost to them pretty badly, 76-65. They just couldn't quite thread the needle. They beat up Queens College. They did not cover. Then they play Austin P. They smoke Austin P. They smoke Jacksonville. And then they just run out of gas against this Lipscomb team, as expected. Much like I talk about hockey with the young players, I think that's the program situation for this North Alabama team. We know we got some trends to back this play up here. I'm involved with Bradley because we have some intersecting zeros on top of the way I speculate this play to go here. Bradley should be fired up. You know, for the most part, I mean, North Alabama's clean sheet. They're ready to roll. If you just look at the X's and O's, if you look at the stats, the advantage is all over. Bradley's going to be the silkier team across the court. I haven't used that term in a minute. And especially if you look at the way that they play the game. They have the edge in field goals. They have the edge in free throws. They have the tremendous edge in 3 points. They have a huge edge in turnovers. They have a big edge in assists. That ball's going to be looking like the Harlem Globetrotters out there against North Alabama. North Alabama finds themselves 0-12 as a dog when they play a team that gets more than 7.5 threes a game, and you get a total less than 152.5. Same trend as yesterday that we cashed on. 16.5 points is the margin. You're a dog against a team that's good at threes on a lower scoring game. That means that they expect that team to execute, and they're losing those games by 16.5 points. On the flip side, what makes it intersecting zeros is we have Bradley 11-0 in the favorite role when they're playing a team that allows more than 7.5 threes a game. So you're not only intersecting, but you got like the same data point that's intersecting. They let up a lot of threes. The other team scores a lot of threes. That's a bad spot to be. This ain't Mount St. Mary's in American. This is North Alabama and Bradley going out there trying to get down in that spot. The margin of victory for Bradley, almost 26 points a game. Going to probably look like the Harlem Globetrotters out there. And I like it. I like that some of these players are coming in. They're ready to roll. -4.5 seems like a fair number to me. Again, the margin suggests this is a thumping. We'll see if we can come through on the thumping, but it looks pretty freaking good. What's up, Jared? Bush is in the house. Xavier and Texas. I'm not afraid to go after the big games. We crushed it yesterday with that UNC spot. Man, we busted up them. Shit, I wish I could have saved something. I mean, we didn't need to beat them by that. We didn't have to do them like that. But we got Xavier coming into Texas. This is where I talk about the 3 legs of the stool for sports money. You know, we leverage tools. We leverage technology. And the expertise is the biggest thing. No disrespect to them, 18-year-old Twitter cappers. But you're seeing things for the first time, brah. What do we know about Texas? They love to fucking choke. They can't help it. Choke is in their middle name. It's the Texas Chokers, not the Cowboys. Horns down. -1.5 moved to -2, and you've got cash coming in on Texas. 56% of the bets and 56% of the cash want that home dog in Texas. This total opened at 149.5. It's gone to 151.5. 75% of the bets and 74% of the cash are coming in on the over. And yet it's down ticking. Why and what the heck is going on in this spot there? Well, if we look at Texas, home team, lose to Tennessee, it's admirable. They did beat my Texas A&M squad, my Aggies. Now, I think my Aggies were focused on the tournament, but they played tough against Tennessee. 83-72, though. I mean, the scoreboard, they got busted up, but look, they beat the bad teams, and they struggle against the good teams. Why? Because they choke. They're choke artists. Xavier on the other side of things. Who'd they lose to? Marquette. They busted up Providence. They busted up Butler. They busted up Creighton. 83-61. They took down Seton Hall in Seton Hall. They're Dragon Slayers, and they're playing choke artists. If you need some numbers, I'll give you some numbers. Xavier, when they're a favorite of less than 8.5 points, is 10-0. They're covering the spread by 11 points. Texas in the dog roll, after shooting pretty solid, after shooting 45% or better, and they're a dog, they're out of gas. They're 0-7 against the spread, and they're losing by 13 points a game. Pretty straightforward. Shooting matters this time of year. Kind of think about it. You lose to Tennessee, it's an emotional depletion out there, not just the physical exertion that it takes. Now, they have had 5 days to rest. I get that, but I don't think Xavier's going to show any fear in this game here. I think they're going to bust him in the mouth. I laid the 2.5 points. I'm not concerned with it. I like the intersecting avenue that we have with this game here. And I think we're going to get some good money off of this one. So give me some Xavier to go into Texas, slap him in the mouth, disrespect him, take a couple of their girlfriends on home, and make that money. That's how we're going to get paid. I see some new. Let's go. Let's go. Jared Bush says New Mexican Lobos tomorrow. Told you today. All right, well, what are you telling us? What do you got, a spread on it? You got a spread on it? AOD says his name is Sub. Trisha M says over under already 138.5 and Mary's American. Time to whack that under. Jared Bush likes American minus 2.5. Matt Rogers is hurt. Xavier baby free throw machine, says Jared. Let's go. Matt Rogers, D as fuck. Take Mount St. Mary's now. Justin McCalvey likes Texas plus 2.5 in his pocket with confidence. I don't like to be against my man's stats. Redbeard says, stop it, Mike. Texas money line. Okay. That'll be a fun one. Adam Hurley in the house says Celtics can eat shit. Eat my shit, no diddy. All right. All right. Cameron Sinetz of St. Mary's is pay for them chocolate chip pancakes tomorrow morning. The truth says winner of this game makes the Sweet 16. I agree. I think Xavier's on a prime spot to make a run. Adam likes Grand Canyon. Grand Canyon's a fun team. I like to see fun teams stomp on people. Let's go. Jared says Lobos to beat Marquette. Straight up. Okay. That's going to complete the games here. A couple other spots that I looked at. I think San Francisco kicks the shit out of Utah Valley. You know, dialed in last night with that late night special. This line is funky. Utah Valley's got one loss, non-conference or something like that, and they're rolling into San Francisco, and that's a San Francisco team that probably feels a little slighted. And they have a tremendous, so what are they, 20 wins in a row at home or something crazy like that? I think that's a good spot for them, boys. I like the under in that Loyola San Jose State game. Just a couple other spots that I'm looking at here. And Gerald Jones likes Furman plus 8.5. I wrote it down. Wrote that one down. And I think UAB takes it to St. Joe's. How about that one? The rumor around the mill was UAB was pressing. They didn't want to go into the NIT or the CBI, and the students came back and said they wanted to play in that game. So there's always something to be said for motivation from a squad at plus 5.5. Yeah, St. Joe's has gone out there and beaten some big dogs, but or some big favorites, I should say. That didn't kind of scratch that, reverse it. St. Joe's had their big win against Dayton. Then George Mason hammered them, 74-64. They were small favorites in that game. And that's predominantly because of that was a step up in class. They played Rhode Island. They played LaSalle, 3 of their last 3 games of the season. And then they get into the tournament and thump. UAB, on the other hand, look, they stomped on North Texas. They took down East Carolina. They got busted up by that Tulane team, but they took down FAU. And they lost to Memphis. No harm, no foul. They won the tournament there. So this UAB team wants to play. They want to be here. That's an important note to make out there. Dixon says Mount St. Mary's plus 3, Xavier money line. Money line. All right. Let's roll. Wow, yeah, we do have ourselves a little 142.5 now on this total for the Mount, huh? Ugh, that's not what we want to see. Free throws, or 3-pointers rather. 3-pointers reign supreme. Jeez. Thumping them, boys. Just trying to see if there's a way for me to live bet this thing here. All right, let's go on to NBA. Then we'll put a bow on the show. Get everybody up out of here. And get ready for a big couple of days coming up. We're going to have tremendous coverage for you guys. Lots of bets to make, lots of plays. Steam reports with the morning Steam and Ramon Scott. Game number 1 I'm looking at here. I think you got to take the Rockets. My problem with the Rockets is you never know if Fred Van Vliet is playing. And it is a little bit of that immediate bounce back revenge opportunity that we talk about in sports. Just trying to give you guys some extra coverage here. I guess it's not that immediate, but 9 days ago they played at Houston. They got busted up 97-84. But all Houston's been doing is winning. They beat them up. They beat the Suns up. They busted up Dallas 133-96. They took down the Bulls 117-114. They stomp on, it was an all-star game in Philly, 144-137. Fred Van Vliet is probable. That's the number that we're looking for out there. And I can tell you that when you're looking at this Houston team, one of the big things that I saw out there, where was it? Let me see if I can find it. The Magic at home, obviously a spot you want to be factored and focused in on here, but road favorites against non-conference opponents are 49-20. 49-20. They're 7-3 in their last 10. Kind of a little fishy number there. Favorites on a road trip against non-conference opponents, kind of a similar number there as well. So Magic do play unders against non-conference opponents. And the Rockets, after scoring a bunch of points, follow it back up by scoring a bunch of points, 17-5 in their last 22 games in that spot as well. So I do like that spot, but I can't quite officially go there. Just giving you guys some other angles that was a first cut for me. I did take this Detroit Pistons Miami Heat action. Pistons open up at 5.5. It's moved to 5. It's even moved to 4.5 before having some late buyback here. They went from 4.5 back up to 5. 73% of the bets and 70% of the cash are on the Pistons. So pretty big handle considering it kind of dropped a point and then moved back up. The total went from 217 to 218s with 76% of the bets and 76% of the cash on the over. So we got a little Pistons action that's taken some late money steam. And they've been a fun story. League worst to a playoff team? Not bad. Pistons. On the road, they're cover machines. 22-11. Can you believe that? They don't play so well in the 3-1-3, but they get on the road. They're 22-11. And the Heat are 15-17 against the spread at home. The Heat have been struggling. I love when people use this strip club. Oh, there's a lot of strip clubs in Miami, so you got to fade the opponent coming in on the road. That's such a fucking lazy way to cap. How about the Heat losing every game and they're not covering the spread? Charlotte, bad Charlotte team, laying 9.5. They lose outright by 3. They play them Clippers. They're favorites. They're laying 2. They lose by 15. That was the one where everyone's like, "Oh, Harden's a big strip club guy." Fucking dummies. Then we got Boston. They take an L to the Celtics by 12 points. They play Memphis. They get thrashed by Memphis on the road. They play 125-91. What do you call that? 34 points? Beatdown. Then they play the Knicks and they get busted up again. Now they're coming back home with 1 day's rest in between. And a little bit of stumble. You had the head-to-head. Washington, they beat them at home. Then they play them again 2 days later at home. That's always a tough spot. That's a fade in the NBA. We've talked about that before. When you're playing the same team with no change in location, that second end, it's the opposite. It's the zigzag. It's got to be hitting at like 80%. So we'll dismiss that out. Then they play one of the league best in OKC Thunder. They lose by 6 points. Okay, not their finest hour. They go on the road. They bust up the Pelicans after that. Step down in class, step up and score. They win that game by 40 points. More than 40 points. 46 points. Busting up. Beatdown. Savage beatdown. In their own barn. The Smoothie King Center. Got busted up. And when they're a road favorite of over 4 points on the road, the Pistons are 10-0. It's the margin. I just alluded to it. 23.7 points a game, them boys find themselves in a victorious situation out there. With that late buying coming back in as well, I got 4.5. I'm okay with 5. That wouldn't dissuade me here, given the fact that you're getting a better number than it opened with. Miami's going to get taken to the woodshed in their own barn. They're spending too much time at the strip club. There's a lot of strip clubs in Miami. Maybe that's why Miami's playing poorly. I'm going to take the Pistons. I like the 4.5. Like I said, I'm still good with 5. Redbeard says, not too late to take Texas. Loves that Texas. Justin likes Pistons minus 4.5. And Magic plus 112 with confidence. I like that. You add the with confidence, my guy. We interrupt for the Moolah live bet, huh? Not much to live bet here. Mount St. Mary's, the rebounding advantage, is taking the early lead. We'll see what happens in the second half. There's a trend I wanted to mention that we saw it a little bit last night. It didn't come through, but it does hit at a 70% rate. So just keep this in mind as you're looking to bet some of these games here, especially as we get into the real tournament, not this playing shit. When the game gets delayed by 15 minutes or more, the under finds a way to hit at a 70% rate. So just keep that in mind. Under when the game gets delayed. And that happened last night with UNC. Now that game went over. It wasn't a true tournament game as a play-in, but it didn't get under for sure. Clearly, let's be clear. It didn't get under. But I saw that number. I wanted to make sure I shared that. So what a good time to bring that up and toss that into the equation. Let's talk about the Sixers and OKC game. Man, if you look at this thing, this is the trend dashboard for overs. Everything about this game is the poster child for overs. This game opened at 9. It's gone to 12. You got 52% of the bets and 70% of the cash on the OKC Thunder. I don't know what you're going to see from the Sixers team, man. They score points now. Like, their guys are out, and they've, like, those backup players or those role players are playing for contracts. 89% of the bets and 88% of the cash have come in on the over. It has not moved. Not moved with heavy action. Also made the respected Sharp buying report showing that they're taking the under in this game. And I think when you peel the covers back and you look at it, what's the big deal behind it? Well, look, the Thunder have been battling some injuries. They're coming back home after a 3-game road trip, and they had 3 of their last 5 games roll to the under. It's the Sixers that are the wild card here. I mean, they lose to Houston 144-137. This is their 5th game of 6 on the road. So I do expect some tired legs, but again, it's the injury factor. Dort's out, Dang's out, Topic, Mitchell for the OKC Thunder. On the Sixers side of things, Oubre, Embiid, Lowry, George, Drum. I mean, everybody's out. Jared McCann, I still think he hurt his knee tick-tocking. Should be enough for the boys here in OKC to get it done. I don't want to lay that kind of number, though. Like, we were talking about this the other day. You want to lay 16. It was 17 is where that number closed against Houston. They were up that whole first half. I know everybody was banging away. Houston at home in the first half, and they got fucking held. Smoke it. Smoke that out. Now, they came back and lost, but to be expected. They were huge dogs. They were 10-1 dogs. They weren't winning that game. I just don't know what we see from this team and how it comes back together here. I'm going to jump in on this under. I'm going to follow that steam or lack of steam, I guess. The cash is pouring on the over. It's not moving, and we got 2 banged-up squads. This is that intersecting opportunity where it's like, OKC, what motivation do they have to go beat this team by 200? And if you're the Sixers, do you have enough talent to go out there and compete with one of the best? Now, if they keep it close, OKC could just say, screw it. Let's move on to the next game. We've seen that time and again in the NBA. That's how they roll. Last game for us on the card here. The Grizz and the Blazers. First of all, take a step back. I would look at that Wizards first half. You know, they were cover machines. We talked about this last week. We had a couple of spots where we took the Wizards first half. They did not cover that last first half. But look, when you're winning 7 out of 10, you're going to win more than you're going to lose. And if you're just coming off an L, it's a good time to jump back on that thing. And the Jazz are equally in stink mode. They've lost 5 in a row. They haven't covered their last 3. And we know they don't have a home court advantage. The Wizards, they stink. But they're only at 2. Markkanen out. Not only is Markkanen out, he's out for personal reasons. AKA, he's just given up. He's done. I don't want to play anymore this year. I don't like Sadiq Bey being out of there for the Wizards, but I'd still look at that first half. You know, you got to probably consider this money line. I mean, they're plus 1.5. Catch the money line at plus 115. That might make the card for a later game at 9 p.m. We'll keep our eyes on that one and see exactly what the injury report looks like. The Grizzlies pop off at 10 p.m. and they're at -4s, down from -6.5. And you have 75% of the bets and 74% of the cash on the Grizz, and yet you lost 2.5 points. That's called reverse line movement. Total dropping as well with reverse line movement. 68% of the bets and 68% of the cash are on the over. It's come down 4 points from 238.5 to 234.5. And this Trailblazers team has been bagging. You know, we've been cashing. We've been making some money with them. They've covered 3 of their last 4. They did just beat that Washington Wizards team, as I mentioned there, that didn't cover that first half. Question for the Grizz. What's this lineup going to look like? Question for the Blazers. Does Jeremy Grant play? He's been downgraded to doubtful, as has Robert Williams. Kamara's questionable. When you look at the Grizzlies side of things here, you couldn't be buying any lower. They've only covered 1 of their last 4, and that was against that lowly Miami team. They busted them up by 30 points. Now, this one might be a little subjective because I want to get involved in an 18 in a row winning trend. It's just me. I mean, it's won 18 times. Who am I to stand in the way of progress here? First and foremost, we've got Memphis that falls into a 9-0 position when they busted up a team back-to-back times by 10 points or more, and they shot over 44% on the road. A strong shooting road team that's already dominated this team twice comes back and beats them up again. They're 9-0. That's the Grizzlies specifically. But across the NBA, when you want to sell high, you know how we still talk about the buy low, sell high. Trailblazers beat Toronto and the Wizards, 2 of the bottom feeders of the NBA. When you're a late season home dog off a win, you've lost 18 times in a row across the NBA. That's enough for me to get in on the Grizz. I'm taking the Memphis Grizzlies in this game here. I'm going to stay on the 18-0 train. I think it's good money. I've been cashing with this thing. I shared it with you guys several times. It's opened itself up. Now, we do know that, Portland can certainly pick up slack and get things rolling, but it's against bad teams that they're winning. And I'm comfortable enough to say, you know what? Memphis is certainly a step up in class. They're not going to F around and find out. This is a -4.5 that I took on this one. Still widely available. And I hope you guys took that 7.5 that I mentioned. This game for tomorrow with Clemson. Clemson, 7.5 tomorrow. I gave it out, 2 days ago? And I said, I rarely do this, but I want Clemson at 7.5. This line's going to move. I thought it was going to move. We'll see if it does get its way on up. It's starting to catch some juice now. So we're seeing -112s, -115s. I'm going to be involved on Clemson tomorrow. It's a 3:15 p.m. start. Some books are showing some 8s. Circa's got an 8 out there already. I just expect as we get closer, that's going to be, I don't know. I don't play a lot of these things too early. I just wanted that 7, and I know I'm playing it. I know there's a monster trend that goes behind it, and I want to get involved on it before it moves. So that's the way we're going to put a bow on the show, you guys. I appreciate everybody coming in to hang out with me tonight. Let's take the time to smash that thumbs up button if you haven't done so already. That's the way that we promote the show and continue to grow. So if you guys could take a second before you head out the door, smash that thumbs up button. Shout out to our enhanced level memberships, and make sure you guys do get out there. We're down to just till tomorrow morning to sign up for the Sports Money March Madness bracket out there. Take some of Moolah's money, and we're gonna give away some merch for you guys that do win this thing overall. If we get to 50, we'll have a second place prize as well. For every 25 members that sign up, we will give away prizes. So there you go. We've got 30, I believe, at this point now. And of course, you want to check us out with First Strike here in just a little bit. Should be out by 10 p.m. tonight. Thank you guys all for watching, and we'll see you guys tomorrow.